Better get the fuck out of here.
Dropping you over there, so you're going to go facing the swell.
Welcome back to another episode of No Viz Adventures, everybody, and welcome back to the $1 Million Studio. In today's episode, I'm sharing some of footage from a few years ago where I had my first ever encounter with a great white shark, or white point, or whatever you want to call it. So on this particular day, we were diving out of Tibbo's rib boat and we were diving offshore off Brisbane, and it was really blue water, and the first spot that we tried was on this fad, and as you can see there was just this 30 centimetre kingfish and nothing else.
Doesn't seem to be any mahi around.
So we moved on to one of the local reefs, and this was my first dive on the reef. I just got down near the bottom and I could see it was pretty fishy. With the experience I have now, given how fishy it looks, I probably would have scratched some rocks and just kept my head down. Just given all this bait, I'm sure there would have been some larger fish around. But I made the decision to go for this fusilier here and just get my first shot in for the day, get my eye in. It's quite a large fusilier actually. It's probably my PB to this date, and they are really good eating too.
Check out how big this fusilier is. Boaty just drift if you want. Oh no, you've got problems with your ears.
So on my next drift, well, I've obviously done some more dives other than this. I found this really cool looking crack, and I could actually already see that it had a whole bunch of parrotfish inside it. And really what I should have done is just lied and just let them come to me, but managed to get a shot off on one of them. And I must have speared another fusilier at some point as well. But all things considered, it's pretty good considering now I still have pretty bad luck with parrots, so another good fish. And so this was the first shark experience that we had for the whole day. It's just looks like a bronze whaler, and it's just cruising along the bottom, and I just dived down to have a closer look at it. I think after this point here we had quite a few more sharks come in a bit closer on our dive, so we decided to dive together to try to maximise our chances of landing fish. Here I am diving with Dylan. This was one of our first times diving out of a boat together, and Dylan was still relatively new to spearfishing. So we're doing a technique here where we dive at the same time. That seems to make the sharks a lot less aggressive. It's just strength in numbers. So I look over and he's speared a fish and he's pulling it up. And I don't see any shark around, so I figure we're all in the clear. And then this shark just comes out of nowhere and comes straight up towards him, which would have been pretty scary considering he didn't have a lot of experience at that point.
Hold it out of the water.
Can you help me out?
What is it?
My weight belt's coming off.
Yeah, so Dylan's still pretty new to spearfishing, and his weight belt actually started slipping off, which is not ideal when you have a shark buzzing around. So I held onto the fish and he fixed up his weight belt. Poor guy. He had a shark shield too that he used at the time. If you saw it, did just a full 180 once it came within a couple of metres of him.
We got quite a big shark hanging around.
So yeah, we should just call the boat over when we got a shark just buzzing around. Look, this one, I've pushed it a lot further in recent years. This one wasn't that bad. Oh, shout out to Levi if you're watching this. I actually borrowed your shoes that day. So on this dive here, I didn't commit to going right to the bottom, and everyone else was back in the boat, and I was just having a look around. There's a few larger fish that I could have gotten closer to, but yeah, I just decided to do a half-assed dive. I think we decided to move spots. Yeah, I just turned around and yeah, there was the unmistakable sight of a great white shark. So if we look at this in slow motion, unfortunately, for whatever reason, the GoPro didn't quite capture it when I first saw it, but it was a fair bit closer. I saw its head, and then it saw me and just sort of darted off, and that's what you're looking at now. But yeah, it was pretty big. It was between 3 and 4 meters. Would have been the largest shark I'd seen at the time, but...
Hey guys, there's a great white.
I just asked them to bring the boat over. They were picking up the other divers, and I just tried to keep my eyes on it. It's not ideal to be in the water by yourself. I remember my foot got stuck in the float line. I remember thinking, this is how I'm going to die. This bloody float line's going to catch my leg and the shark's going to come and eat me. It just stayed in the murk, and they were over in a matter of seconds.
Better get the fuck out of here. that thing was like 6 meters.
6 meters?
Yeah.
You'll be right.
Oh, that gun's still loaded, Dylan.
They 6 meters. You'll be right.
Woo.
I told you.
So at this point here, we all made the group decision to head in and dive some shallower reefs, which potentially no great white sharks on them. I love diving this reef. I still love diving it now. The current just rips through it, and it's just a lot of sand with sparse structure, and you just try and get to the bottom and just try to move with the current, and you'd be amazed at what sort of pops out from the rocks. And I just spot this good eating size purple tusk fish. Don't really see them anywhere else except for this reef. So I just decided to keep that on my gun rather than calling the boat over. It's a bit risky, especially given what just happened with the shark. I remember on this dive there was something large in that cave and it was up current, and I was trying to swim towards it, but I just couldn't make it. You can see I'm pointing my gun towards it. I think it was a grassy emperor. And this big school of spotted mackerel came through. And I picked out one from the school. I can't believe I got a shot into it and hit it in the spine, which is really cool. And so this is my last dive for the day. Footage sort of makes it seem deep, but it's only about 12 to 13 meters deep at this reef. Sort of level out as I hit the bottom. And this is typical Australia for you. There's just a fish waiting for you when you hit the bottom. Pretty long shot. It's a reasonably large target. So there we go. Great eating size black spot tusk fish to round out the day.
Yeah. It's nice to finally get one, because usually when I see them I just fuck it up. I remember looking at it and aiming at it and thinking, well, I can't miss, but thinking, oh.
Alright, that about wraps up another episode. Thanks to everybody for watching. I hope that you could take away something from today's episode. At the end of the day, sharks are just part of the ocean, and if you want to spear your own fish for food, then you're going to see them at some stage. The main thing is you just act confident and calm and make sure you always buddy up, and you'll see they really aren't that bad. I mean, crocodiles on the other hand are bloody terrifying. Sharks, they just want an easy feed of fish, and they're actually quite easy to get along with. Cheers, and see you on the next episode, everybody.